So I came upon something yesterday. Are you aware of something called the Caucus Challenge?
No,
So
maybe.
I've seen it before a couple of times here and there, and I saw a trailer for one, and it looked really, really interesting. So this guy, his
Mhm.
name's Dre Media, he puts out he gets people from the area. I think this is in like New York or New Jersey or something, and they pretty much do a homemade version of the challenge.
Oh, okay. I think I've seen that. Didn't we?
Yeah, uh,
Loyoka used to. He used to like follow stuff like that. I feel like I
right,
remember.
and he may have even put us onto it a while ago. So very interesting stuff. I think what those guys are doing over there is awesome, but they just got a podcast for um for covering it.
I mean, that's pretty cool because then you can kind of bring more light to it. So yeah, I mean,
Guess
I
no
think
no
those
no
things are
no.
pretty
Here goes
cool.
the cool part. Guess who are the podcast hosts for that?
Who?
Guess
I have no idea.
Becky and Rob.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
That's cool.
That is great. You couldn't get better podcast hosts if you tried. Like that is fucking awesome.
It's like you're a college coach and this is your coaching tree.
Oh, so many people is not going to get that, but I do. But hey, big shout out to the Caucus Challenge. I will be watching this season to get into it, and big shout out to Rob and Becky for always doing their thing. Both of those guys are really fucking awesome. But are you ready to get into this episode?
Yeah, when we also are gonna do a quick recap of episode 8, right? We had some
Sure. I
we
mean,
had some technical difficulties. We can
fucking AT&T, man. Hold on, let me bring the episode in, and I'm gonna blast AT&T. What's really good, Posteriors? I am MTV Malik. He is Tyler Louder. This is Love, War, Challenges. AT&T, absolutely not cool. And this has been happening several times over the past couple of months. They have just been dropping service. It's just been terrible. Just been terrible. So it really messed up the whole last episode because the internet just cut out. And not only did it just cut out, it was gone for the whole day. And AT&T service is so fucking shitty in this area. If we don't have Wi-Fi, we don't have shit. It's like the fucking cavemen. AT&T do better. And even worse, to add insult to fucking injury, they're just like, sorry for the difficulties you may have. We credit your account $2.33. What?
so
$2.33 for me missing a full day of work for my kids not being able to do homework, and I can't watch the newest episode of Reacher? Fuck you.
well, I mean, it's not like AT&T makes a lot of money. They're not like a really, rich company, so they can't really afford to give out much more.
AT&T can suck it.
They just took what they did is they just took $2 off of all their lowest level employees and gave it to you. So everybody up top could still keep their money. But no, yeah. So essentially we couldn't cover last week. We had the difficulties. I mean, we were rolling for probably about 10 minutes in and then yeah, boom, it hit. So why don't we just kind of quick power through what happened in episode 8 and just our quick thoughts on it?
Okay, Adam and Melissa versus Turbo. Where do you stand?
So here's the thing. I think Adam was right. Turbo was right. I think they were both right because Turbo's like, you guys all leave garbage everywhere. Like I sleep here, but I take all the garbage out. So
Right?
it's like Adam just wants him not to lay there. Turbo wants people not to be messy. I get it. I saw something where like Nani is right. Like Turbo doesn't live with in a communal space of people. Like he doesn't do that. This is very like literally foreign to him. And he hasn't, and I saw somebody tweet this last week. It was like, he hasn't had to do that since he won $750,000 from War of the Worlds one. Like, and on top of that, I think he's won Turkish Survivor twice. So it's like he doesn't need to like he just does whatever he wants. He has money to do it. Melissa, 100% in the wrong. You're not involved in this conversation. Stop talking. Stop involving yourself. She has these little things where she thinks she has to jump in because she's friends with somebody. So she has to gang up and have her voice heard. And you see it perfect. Nani is controlling Turbo. She's telling him to shut up, stop talking. He's like, why are you yelling at me? Stop. And then Melissa yells at him. He's like, you shut up. I don't like you. but he kind of respects Nani. It's weird,
It
but
is
I think
weird.
yeah,
Um, I'm on Adam's side. Turbo, you have plenty of room to go wherever you want. You don't have to
that's
stay
true.
here. At the same time, everybody's a mess. And I understand that Turbo don't get it, but everybody being a whole mess is kind of the challenge has been doing it. So either you know what show you're on, or you should at least. So come on, cut it out. Moving on. The daily shooting for the star. We see a very familiar cliff. Think we've seen it before. Uh,
Mhm.
on a scale of 1 to 10, how was this daily for you?
One. This is one of the worst dailies we've seen. And here's the thing: everybody needs to understand. I am positive Pete when it comes to the challenge. I am always like, no, give this cast a chance. Give all the setup a chance. Give the daily elimination a chance. Like that's always me. This episode was one of the worst. It was the worst episode of the season, and the daily was a drag. It was like it took them probably longer in between one team and second team participating than it did for all 6 teams or 7 teams to do the challenge.
Absolutely. Oh, I gotta quit vaping. This daily was absolutely horrible. It wasn't fun to watch. It was boring. Um, Unfortunately, and I hate to see this in All Stars, it's just lame.
Yeah.
LAME. It's lame. It's not fun to watch. It's probably not fun to do. It's just lame. The puzzle was whack. The premise was whack. I mean, even when we saw this on the flagship, it wasn't great. So
Mm.
why would you pull from some of the more boring stuff? I understand some of the stuff is going to be recycled and used kind of in different ways. This should not have been one of them. Absolutely terrible.
But when they did the flagship, like it wasn't like a 9 piece puzzle. It was trying to fit. It was trying to
It was the
hotwire a
wires,
car. But then after they fell in the water, didn't they unclip and then swim as well? Didn't they swim as
possibly.
well? Or was that a different one?
It could have been a
It,
different one. There was a
they might
lot of swimming.
they might have used that cliff twice, but it just I think that's the only thing it was missing is like it should have done something to something, where there was more to it because it just looked like it was nothing. And then, but I will say this though, it was weird because like episode 7, the daily was pretty fun, that little blow your mind puzzle type thing, and then the elimination was bad. And then the episode 8, the daily was bad, but I thought the elimination was pretty good as well.
Speaking of the elimination, let's get to the elimination. Hold up. Adam and Steve are put in against Nani and Turbo.
Ashley and Dario.
I'm sorry. As Adam and Steve puts in Nani and Turbo.
Yeah.
That's what I meant
Yep.
to say. Nani and Turbo versus Ashley and Dario. What's your take on what did you think of the elimination? Good, bad, scale of 1 to 10?
I
Where
mean,
you at with it?
it's like a 7. I mean, I think it's a good elimination where you have to trust your partner to hold up the puzzle. You have to finish it. But what I like is that they had to switch. A lot of times when you see puzzles with teams, one person can just do it all, and the other person can be dumb as rocks, and it doesn't matter. But here, all right, if you don't get it on 3 minutes, your partner has to go, and you better hope. And it was kind of like, okay, Turbo had the advantage over Dario in the puzzle, but I thought Ashley had the advantage over Nani. So every time they switched, it was like, well, the other team just got an advantage now as they switch. Who's going to win? And so it added a new layer to it. I thought it was good that both people had to do something. It was if we're ranking all 9 eliminations we've had or all 8 eliminations, it's probably like 4 or 5
I
so
would
far.
agree. But, right in the middle, a little bit better than some of the ones we've seen. And the switching added a great element to it. And it
Mhm.
also made it exciting to watch. It made something that was very simple, very exciting to watch. So I did like it. But Dario and Ashley gets their ticket punch. They are going home. Sad to see 90 and Turbo survives another day. Ready to move on to the next episode?
Yeah, and what's great is that we moved to episode 9. Actually, at the end of episode 8, we get the little like Shane, Veronica tension drama kind of ramping up. And this is where I feel like the end of episode 8 leads into episode 9 very well. And we start to get more entertainment. Like this was a fantastic episode, I
This
thought.
was a fantastic episode on all fronts. The star holders are going to be Sam and Frank, Adam and Steve, Nani and Turbo. Um, in the very beginning, we get to see Melissa and Nicole. They're very flirty. They gave her some time at the beginning. I don't think there's anything really going on there, but Veronica comes out. But doing that tells me that they're going to be it's the forecasting that the challenge does that they
Mhm.
really need to start doing just a little bit better. Um, in the A block, Veronica goes out of her way to try to reel in um Davon and Shane a little bit. I'm not sure if I asked you this last episode. I think I did. But what do you think is Shane's hesitation to be fully aligned with Veronica? Because it seems like they're going for the same thing here, right?
It's just Frank. And I don't want to, I don't know. I don't know if it's like, if Shane wants to be the only gay male cast member on a season, because
Is it
it
jealousy,
seemed,
maybe?
I don't know, because like him and Frank, and then the last time he was on, him and Jose didn't really get along and everything. And I know Corey was on here,
Jose
and
was
apparently,
great TV.
and I'm gonna tell you right now, apparently there's some drama that we don't know between Shane and Corey on this season that wasn't aired, is what I've heard from. I saw on like a tweet from Frank or something. I don't know. It
Wasn't there rumors they hooked up during the season?
that's what I've heard. But and here's the thing: I'm not saying that Shane is just being jealous and wants to be this only one, and I'm not trying to be whatever word people will call me for saying that and everything. It just, there's no depth behind why he doesn't like these people. And so it comes off as jealousy to the
Mm,
viewer. That's the thing. And so I'm sure maybe something else happened between him and Frank, where he just doesn't like him and everything. And there's more to it than he's talking to my best friend. There has to be more, right? There can't just be, he's friends with Veronica too. I don't like it. There has to be.
yeah, I feel you. His reasoning is kind of thin. And without any reasoning, the fans are going to put, their own spin on it. They're going to be like, oh, he's
Yeah.
just jealous. He's not number one, in the book. But, you know, whatever.
I
Moving on to
yeah.
the daily. Today's daily is called Bubble Bullseye. And let me tell you something. When I first saw it, I was like, ugh, they're just gonna be sliding down the middle. This was actually a pretty good daily. It was pretty exciting. It's pretty much a human shuffleboard.
Right.
Thrown down the ramp. That's slippery. Got to land in the middle. Everybody gets points. You touch the floor, you lose 10 points. Um, it's not a lot to discuss about strategy or anything like that, but the way everything unfolded, I thought was really interesting.
Well, here's the thing, and we're gonna have to check people because if I, you see people posting online of like this season's boring, this season's blah blah blah, the dailies are lame and everything. This daily was once used on the Duel 2. The only
Yep.
difference was they were in bikinis and they were sitting on ice blocks, and the women didn't have to push the men one time; just the men pushed the women. So it's like this has been done before, but it was sexualized. Like,
Yeah.
so you can't say this is a bad daily because it was done on a season that everybody, Duel 2, people like the Duel 2. So, yeah, I mean, there's nothing really to evaluate. I don't know if there's a different strategy. It seemed most people were getting eliminated by going further. Nobody was coming up really short overall. So, I mean, mad props to Shane and Devon. Not only do you get your star, but then you also win and protect it immediately. Fantastic.
Yes, and they get a star at an opportune time. Sometimes it's not only about winning, it's about when you win. And they were able to show up and they was able to get the win at the right time where it mattered the most. So big shouts out for them. They did their big thing and they did it when they needed to do it the most.
Here's the thing that I don't understand, and we'll get into the elimination part of this. Everybody was like, I don't know if this is the last thing. I don't know if we're going to go in and then take a star and then they're just going to kick a team home and send them home. That has never happened in the history of the challenge that they've been like, all right, you don't got to take it to my final, leave. Just last season that Nicole was on, they were like, okay, you seven people don't have a star. Two of you will get one today by participating in this. Like they did that last season. Nicole, you were there. Like you were watching it.
Do you
It's
even watch the show? Like,
Do you even watch the things happening in front of you? Like it it is so mind-blowing that they were like at the very end of this episode, they're like, wait, they're not just gonna kick them out and send them home? Why not? Why did they get another chance to come after us? Like,
even though I would be totally fine with that. The only time we ever seen anything remotely close to that was season 16, The Island.
right.
And
But
that
but
was it.
but the only difference was that we knew that there was only 8 keys. But even then, they let everybody participate at
Mhm.
that final spot. So it's like they've never just said you're screwed, which to be honest, they should. They
They should
really should.
100% should. It would be
They
great.
should say if you're going to play a scared game, you will miss out on this opportunity, and that has to be something you're okay with. But it's every season. And we see this with so many people that send themselves into elimination. They send themselves in too early. If you really want, here's advice for every challenger. If the ones that listen to this, next time you go on and TJ says you got to earn your way into my final, just don't go into elimination until the very last one. You will get a chance. Everybody gets a chance.
I think this last elimination is going to hurt somebody so bad, and probably somebody who's going to be undeserving.
Well, here's what I think will happen next week and everything is that Nani and Turbo are going to go in against the star holder because you can't put two star holders in because then you're just going to give a star to Nani and Turbo for not even having to go in. So like they're locked into an elimination. It's just who's the sacrificial lamb. And yeah.
Yeah. And in reality, everybody knows who that sacrificial lamb is going to be. It's going to be whoever wins, today's elimination.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. Or it could be Frank and Sam. That's what it seems like, but we'll
possibly.
see.
At the end of the daily, very interestingly, Frank goes for the first time this whole season. We see him panic a little bit. We seen him, kind of, get. We never seen him this distressed. So he goes in. He starts talking to Adam. He's like, "Hey, Melissa and Nicole wants one. We're gonna put them in, and we gotta get them to vote in. Veronica and Katie, so they, da 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 da." And Davon walks on like, "What are we talking about? What's going on?" And Frank immediately just buckles. What do you mean? I mean, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And I really like the fact that Adam just said, like, listen, this is what we're discussing. This was the plan. He's trying to figure this out. We're trying to figure that out as we move forward for the game. I thought that was 100% the proper way to play it. And I think if more people play that way, things would be easier. Frank backpedaling and trying to talk over himself. It was just a bad luck. He was like, listen, you guys won, and we're trying to make sure that me and my team are going to be put in the best position. We're trying to figure out which path forward is going to be the best.
It was very interesting because this whole episode, we're sitting here and it's like, Davon's like, no, I don't want to work with them. No, I don't want to. I want my friends. Oh, do you see that? Frank's talking. Shane, nobody's supporting you. Nobody's doing this. These are my friends. Okay, we'll put in Katie and Veronica and screw over my friends. Like the whole episode was a waste. Every confessional and everything Davon said, she backtracked at the very end.
100%. I was I ended up being so disappointed, and both of them, both Shane and Davon, because I don't feel like they made the best move for their own game at all.
I don't think the house made the best move. Why are you letting Melissa and Nicole go in? Why? What I would have done is I would have sent in Nani and Turbo. I would have voted in Nani and Turbo, and then if somebody wants a star, that's who you have to take out. And then
that seems like it was obvious and it was fair.
And then Shane and Davon just go, okay, do we give it to Veronica or Nicole? Like you pick.
Veronica and the Alliance wanted it. So if Melissa and Nicole are the house vote, and first off, they know that they're the house vote, they know they can go in. At least it's a woman team versus woman team. It gives them the best chance to win. Don't get me wrong. That is very fair. And I'm not against that. But what the freak has either one of you teams done to be put in that kind of position? No. If you're more friends with Nani and Turbo, give them a fighting chance. Hey, they're gonna take your star. Well, we're gonna give you a chance to at least defend it instead of having to sit there and look stupid and get it stolen.
Here's the crazy thing: if they all thought that it was like the last time to get a star, which doesn't make any sense. Really, they could have sent in Nani and Turbo versus Adam and Steve, and automatically freed up a star. And then right there you go, well, TJ can't end us because there's a star sitting right there. So they have to let somebody. It was just
so many other options besides the one that they chose. And so the House vote goes the way we think it's going to go. Melissa and Nicole nominate themselves. They get to stroll right the fuck in. And don't get me wrong, I like Melissa very much as a challenger. I think Nicole kind of gets a bad rap because she's kind of annoying, but at least she can compete, even though you can't tell that by this season because they haven't done jack shit. But we get to the elimination and we get to a very awesome moment. Davon steps up. TJ, what if I disagree? Oh, now we're talking about some shit. You see 90 gets kind of excited. I got excited because I was just like, it doesn't matter if it's Nicole and Melissa or Veronica and Katie. Davon and Shane probably does have a good chance of winning anyway. And you still free up a star and you don't hurt your friend.
Yeah.
So, and Katie Veronica can't say shit because, like, hey, you get a chance to win it at tomorrow's daily. You just got to go in and win it. Or if there's one left over, they might have to battle it out. So you might still have your chance. There's still an open star. So many different options. And Devon had a moment to have a challenge moment.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get a lot of these. It's different if you're CT or Jordan or Bananas, and you have these multiple options to have these great challenge moments. And as you
Right.
know, these moments come few and far in between. You had a
Mm-hmm.
moment to do something really, really legendary, something that you could be remembered for, and she kind of blew it with, I'm joking. I
Well,
was very
and
disappointed.
if we go back the last time something's happened, Zach and Amanda on Final Reckoning, if production didn't rig the eliminations that way, Devin and Corey automatically got back into the house, which is what I heard. Zach, that final thing he had to pull down, he pulled it down like 10 times and it would not come down. And eventually they just lost because it wouldn't come down. One piece wouldn't come down. He set himself in to protect his friends. That's a badass move. Really, that should have been revered.
That
And
is a badass move.
yeah, and we see it. I'm like I said, I'm watching All Stars 3 right now. We've seen it where Brad's freaking out because this plan Wes put together is going to send Brad in,
And
Wes
Wes says, hey,
goes,
I'm going to hold you down. I'm going to step
yeah,
up for it. You
you're my
love that
friend.
kind of stuff. People who
Those
watch the
things
challenge love competition.
are far and few between. And here's the thing: by doing this, you're saying Nani and Turbo, I don't care. And her thing of like, if we're friends now and they can get over it, we'll be friends after the show. Sure. But that still tarnishes your friendship. You're choosing yourself over a friend deliberately. And here's the thing. There are times in the challenge throughout the history that it's like you're stuck. I have to. I don't have another choice. They had a choice here. They had a choice.
They did. And like I said, I think the fairest thing to do, at least to your friend, okay, they're gonna steal your star. Well, put your friend down there. Now, if you want to steal it, you got to beat them to steal it. But hey, I digress. Who wants to take the road less traveled? Who wants to go in the hard road? Today's elimination is called Pin Pop.
Pin pop.
I love this elimination. It's quirky.
Yeah.
It's janky. It doesn't matter how big or strong you are. It doesn't matter if you can balance. Doesn't matter how
Anybody
fast you
can
are.
win.
And don't get me wrong, I love physical challenges and I love contact challenges. And I understand we're probably not going to get a hall brawl this season, even though I would love one. But but also you got, and at least it's not a freaking puzzle. This was good. It required two people. It required communication, and even better, it was good. It was close. It was tense. I was on the seat. I was on the edge of my seat watching this. It was a great elimination.
Say what you want about most of these eliminations throughout the season. Almost every elimination has been down to the wire. Like they all have been, everyone, even the bad eliminations have been a little dramatic. So it's like, you know what? It's not, we can't have these. We know All Stars, we're not going to have all brawls and stuff like that.
All Stars should have significantly less contact. Not less physicality, but less contact.
The point of All Stars was to bring people back for a short period of time that you haven't seen in a long time to re-showcase the history of the challenge and people that paved the way for the new generation. That is
the chance to rewrite some of their histories.
100%. And we've seen that with a lot of people. John A is the biggest example of that. Even Big Easy. Big Easy went to a final and finished a final. Like
JG.
Yes.
Winning it, and he competed his ass off.
Yeah. And, and so we're seeing all these different aspects of All Stars, and that's what it is. Now is All Stars 5 a little tainted version of that? We get some people that maybe shouldn't be on there. They're a little younger. Sure, it is, but that's the whole point of this. So when we get these eliminations where it is a nail biter, anybody could win. You could have put in Adam and Steve against Veronica and Katie, and who knows?
Probably has the same chance to win.
Yeah. You would assume that the better team could win because they're just better. But I mean, if anything, when I saw that elimination, I would have thought right then and there that's a good chance to throw in a Frank and Nani, or sorry, a Turbo and Nani, because janky eliminations, they can get anybody.
Yes, and janky eliminations are the true equalizer. This one came down to the wire, but Melissa and Nicole gets the win, hard fought win, and for all of the scheming that they did, Veronica and Katie's going home. I think Katie, usually I roll my eyes every time somebody says like, oh, I'm just glad that I made it this far. There's a couple times where it was okay, like Devin and free agents or whatever, where it was trying and
Mhm.
just finishing is a and I'm actually inclined to agree. The fact that they made it this far,
Mhm.
I thought was pretty great considering everything they had against them. Good for them. Sad to see them go. They provided a shitload of entertainment. Um, so really, really sad to see them go. And it looks like we're gonna get another elimination tomorrow. So all of this panicking and worry they had in the first place was kind of misguided.
Yeah, and it's crazy. But then again, we're not living in that house. Maybe it does something to your mental psyche where you just don't understand the concept of like TJ won't do that, production won't do that. It's a
Do you
waste of
think that
money. It's a
happens?
waste
Kind
of
of
an
like
episode.
a tunnel vision, not able to see outside of the box a little bit?
It could, but here's the thing you have to remember. This is a television show that makes money. So if they just send somebody home and then had a final next week, that's one less episode. That's one less week of ratings. That's one less week of, you know what I mean? It's money. So yeah, it's interesting. Here's the thing, Katie, she went home first on Battle of the Seasons, Battle of the Eras. Sorry. So yeah, this is a huge accomplishment for her. Veronica, stop wearing heels. You just can't wear heels anymore. I'm sorry, that's twice back-to-back All-Star seasons you've done. Or
Why y'all even bringing heels? Why
yeah,
y'all bringing anything that can help you get injured? Come on.
it's
Y'all,
just
y'all
it's
use your head a
yeah,
little bit.
I 100%. And so it's just overall, they perform and finishing in sixth place is way better than we thought out of 13 teams.
100%. Well, and the fact that they have accumulated so much power and ran the house for a pretty significant part of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Hats off to them. Melissa and Nicole do exactly what we knew they were going to do. They take Nani and Turbo Star, and Nani is fucking spicy right now,
Mm-hmm.
deservingly so. I know this has had to shake up where the power stands in this house. What's
Yeah.
your take on the power rankings this week?
So there's some big movement, but there's some people that just stay where they are. So moving from 8 to 9, we didn't hear my power rankings last week. Adam and Steve took the top spot last week. They remain in the top spot. Uh-oh. Boy, bad timing. And so that's number 1. But let's go back to number 5. Number 5 is going to be Melissa and Nicole. They don't have any power. They only got thrown in because they didn't have a star, and everybody thought it was the last elimination for some reason. They got what? They got like 5th in the daily.
Because the funny thing is, they were supposed to lose. They let them, if they thought for any chance that they might be able to like really, really beat Veronica and Katie, they wouldn't have gone with them. It's just that if Katie and Veronica is going to have to go into elimination to get one, this is their best chance.
Right. And so
Like,
yeah,
you're
it's
so
just
dumb. Y'all sacrificial lambs. Just, Nani was right. Dumb moves.
if Melissa and Nicole win the whole season, I'm gonna be just
I
eating
would
my
be
words the
so
whole
fucking
time.
pissed.
But who
I mean,
knows?
I like Melissa, but still.
Number 4 is Nani and Turbo. Now the reason why they dropped down, even though I think that they are the second or maybe the best team here overall, especially for a final, I think Nani's probably the best female for a final right now, runner wise, and I'd argue Turbo is probably the second best male for a final outside of Frank, is my opinion. Um, but here's the thing: they don't have a star. We know next week they're going to need a star. They have to go into elimination, which when you're in that position, you have a 50-50 chance of going home. So,
Also,
yeah.
with having no power, they have no power because guess what? Your friends are still saying your name.
Well, they will have power to make sure they go in if they win the daily, then they can just send themselves in. But they won't get to pick who they're going against. So the power isn't really fully there. But number 3 is
And
Frank
and
and
it,
Sam.
and if they do go in, that's when the house is going to try to put in Adam and Steve.
Right. And it's like, okay, do you want to go and get your star?
Be-
But here's the thing though. I believe that the final setup for 4 teams, you could send in 2 star holders. And I think whoever's left over will just get the star. Like that's what I think could happen. It'd be an interesting situation because that would be the time that they would send somebody home and just do 3 people final.
Very
But it's like
interesting how it might
Nani
play
and
out.
Nani and Turbo earned their star in episode 1. They've won 2 eliminations where they could have taken stars that they didn't have them. So it's like they've earned their way into
100%.
a final. Frank and Sam coming at number 3. They just lost their number 1s. It's a big detriment to them. I honestly could see them getting thrown into elimination next week. It looks
100%.
like
Because
well,
I think they're all working with Frank. I don't think anybody's really going to feel some kind of way about throwing them in.
well, here's the thing. If Shane and Devon win, they're throwing in Frank and Sam.
100%.
If Nani and Turbo win, I think Adam, Steve, Shane and Davon, Melissa and Nicole are going to vote Frank and Sam. The only way I think Frank and Sam don't go in is if Melissa and Nicole win, or if they win the daily. That's the only way I think they don't go in.
I would agree with you 100%.
Yeah. And so number 2 is Shane and Davon. They win a daily, they get a star, they protect their star, but they also lose it's weird. Shane loses the top ally. Davon loses somebody she wants to get rid of, but then they also pissed off Davon's number ones, and they have a big target from Frank and Sam. It's weird.
They
but
had a lot
they're
of
good
power,
team.
but I don't think they wielded it in a way that was most beneficial.
Yeah, it all kind of lost. And if I was them, I just would have like lost today and been like, yeah, they'll send me in. Like, let's let Veronica and Katie get a star, and then send us in against Melissa and Nicole. That's what I would have done.
It would have been a lot easier to put that blood on somebody else's hands, but they had to get their star.
And then number 1 is Adam and Steve, like I said earlier. Overall, I mean, we're talking what they have 3 daily wins, 4 elimination wins. They were safe this week. Nobody even batted an eye at throwing them in.
Well deserved. They did enough work in the beginning of this season. Leave those guys alone and let them go to the final.
And they didn't even lose their star. Nani made a good point. They
and
have
they're probably
performed
going to
better.
win. Nani and Turbo is their only real competition.
Yeah. That and injuries. That's the only 2 things that'll stop them from winning, is if they get injured or if Nani and Turbo are in that final.
Yep, that's it. Everybody else is going to be fighting it out for 3rd and 4th if those 2 make it in.
Man, you know what's crazy? I see, when I'm looking at this, like, you could envision people like winning a season. Like, it'd be preseason where like Devin and Leroy going to walk away with this. Or I could see,
I was big
Fessy
on
and Amber.
I was big on Fessy and Amber.
And now we're looking at these 5. I'm like, if Melissa and Nicole win, I'd be shocked. Like, they're going to hit a puzzle and then they're going to be stuck there for 2 days. And that's like, and then I look at it and go, Frank and Sam. I don't know if Sam can keep up. I don't know.
I think Frank can will her through certain situations, but I think he just has too much competition.
And then I look at the other 3 and I'm like, okay, Shane and Davon, they've been arguing a lot. The main focus hasn't been on them being good as a team. Like, there's been more positive moments about Frank and Sam than there have been Shane and Davon.
I think Shane and Davon has it in them. I think they can compete.
The edit doesn't show that, though. It just shows them arguing. So unless it's building us up of like they were still clashing, but they overcame at the end. And then I look at Nani and Turbo and I'm like, they look like they look like they could really win preseason, midseason, next week. And it's like, the only way I think they don't win the whole final, and this is like obvious, is if they get sent home. That's what I feel like. But then you get to Adam and Steve, and I'm like, who's the most all-star looking winner on this cast? And it is Adam and Steve.
And Adam and Steve, they have the skill set necessary to pull this off. Nani also has. It's really going to come down between those 2, and Nani and Turbo got to make sure they're into that final.
So let's shift gears real quick. As this episode ends, let's speculate a little bit, because Mark has been doing a lot of speculation. He recently spoke to Coral. There's talks of maybe an X's on All Stars.
I would love to see Coral back again.
Okay, but here's the reality though. Last time Coral was on was Gauntlet 3. So we're talking what? That's like season 17. I just want to
see her, man. I just want to see her. That's all. I'm not expecting her to pull out a win after all this time off.
But what are the odds she returns?
I would say 50-50.
And in what manner? Like, if it's X's, who's she pair up with?
I would say 50-50, because even like with the job that I have now, if I said, hey, something came up, well, I don't know. I'm really important at my job. I can't take those 6 weeks off. I do got about 10 days of vacation time. I could probably stretch at 14.
I'd take off 6 weeks. I would take off 6 weeks.
I would too.
I would do it.
I would just love to see her back. Just that's just pure fan service for me.
Right.
Coral is just so iconic on so many different levels.
Yeah, and it's just, but it's a really interesting thing, and that brings up the topic of, if we do an X's, is that something that you want to see on an All-Stars format?
Absolutely. All-Stars is great for bringing back some of these old formats that we fell in love with, that we know. Granted, you're going to have to bring in some new people, because guess what? Some of these people are aging out. Some of these people should not be doing the challenge. Look at their ankles.
I think All-Stars at this point should, if we can cast like we see 2 teams, if it's pairs, 2 pairs from seasons 1 through 10, that's great. And then if you can give me 8 teams from like 11 to like 25, that era, and then the rest can be from 26 and up and newer. So let's do a quick rattle off. Top of your head. If let's just say X's happens on All Stars, who are some iconic X's that you would want to see back that you think we really could see back? And that because remember, All Stars isn't about like messy X's. Like Ashley and Dario, they really weren't that mad at each other. You
Right.
know, it was like, ooh, this is gonna be awkward. Do you think a Cara and a Kyle would be okay?
Um, you know,
Kyle's got a baby now.
I,
Cara's in a
I,
good spot with Paulie.
I wasn't a huge fan of Kyle. Kyle got into my good graces a lot later on.
Mhm.
I wouldn't mind seeing Kyle back. I think that'd be great. But you know what? Now this isn't a super messy X thing, but and I know this probably won't happen. But hey, Miz and Kendall,
See, well, it'll never happen. It'll
never.
never happen. The Miz makes way too much money,
And Kendall's done.
and Kendall's yeah. Well,
I miss Kendall.
except for I just rewatched that. That was so messy.
So messy.
The
Miz
way it
looks so
ended,
bad. He looks
he
so
looks
bad.
so
And
bad.
Kendall was so forgiving and just kind of let it roll. Shit. Kendall's the
But
best.
could you imagine a world where Brad and Tori?
No.
I mean,
No.
what if they don't? What if they don't know? What if they don't know the format? We've seen this in the past where somebody shows up and it's like, oh, it's X's, and it's like, remember X's one, and it's like,
Wes and
what,
Johanna.
dude?
Dude, that was
I recently saw something, and this is probably older, but I saw Devin was on a podcast, and I just see like somebody on TikTok just post like random podcast clips, and Devin was like, I don't understand why production didn't do whatever they could to get Wes. Like we showed up, and I was like, where's Wes? I know what he said. He's retired. Pay him $1 million. Do whatever you have to do to get him there. Make it so he can work while he's there. Like whatever you have to do. Like
Yeah.
you allowed Bananas to do a podcast while he was there. Allow Wes to do something. You know what I mean? Like find a way. And I thought it was pretty interesting. Yeah. But it would be interesting. I think you could. I'm trying to think of who else you could do. Yeah, I mean, you could do Nani and Janae. I'm Casey now. Maybe too soon, but
you know what? Little blast from the past. Avery and Johnny Riley.
oh, that would be really
That would
good.
be great. Where has he been up to?
Who knows?
There's just so many great options.
See,
Great
that's
options. And you know what? Leroy and Naya would be a perfect one too.
we already done that. I feel like
Yeah, but partnered up as exes.
I know they were partnered up as exes.
I know, but to see it again.
But they were only partnered up with exes because of a little, quick bathroom trip on free agents. The only time
that's enough.
The only time that they recasted a couple, and I thought it was acceptable, was CT and DM. That is the only time that if DM was still alive today and you did another exes, you cast them. You cast them every time because they are the exes of exes. They are the intertwined souls for eternity. And so, yeah, but otherwise, so that's just thoughts. I just thought to bring that up because if we do get an exes and they start casting it, who would be exes?
Oh, we should do that.
Interesting.
We'll do a video on the Dream exes cast.
Yeah, that would be, especially, and we could do it All Stars version because then we keep it old school a little bit. And I mean, because you can't keep it new school because then it's just like, all right, well, we're going to have Fessy and Corey. So now they each have 10 people to pick from. Who do we pick? Like,
we Fessy with 6 people.
Corey and Anissa.
That did happen, didn't it?
Corey and Anissa, Fessy and Amanda would be good. See, there you go. Now we get some newer, but kind of, we get some mixes in there. Kahada and Kellyanne.
Yeah, I mean, it's so great. Yeah, I would love to have Kahada back. Still, just a great guy to have around.
Just robbed. He is. If we ever did a most robbed challengers of all time,
Kahada would be up there.
Kahada would be up there. Like, oh, okay, well, Casey's pregnant. You got to go. Wait, what?
And people forget Kahada ended Wes's reign of terror too.
Yes, yep. He's the reason why because if Wes would have beat him, Wes would have been 9-0 in eliminations. I don't know. Like Wes probably would have ran.
Been a fucking monster.
Could you? That'd be a really cool what if. Like, what if on the ruins Wes beats Kahada? How many more eliminations does he win?
He goes into every elimination after he pissed too many people off too fast.
No, but that's what I'm saying though. But would he beat the rest of the guys in all those eliminations? Like, if Johnny Bananas can beat Dunbar in that rope wrestle, well then Wes could beat him because Wes beat Derek in a pole wrestle. So he beats him. I'm trying to I don't even know who else was around after that, after Kahada. But that's what I'm saying. I feel like he probably could have ran the whole gauntlet and just there's no more guys left. So now Wes doesn't have to go to more eliminations. Like
Very interesting take. Very interesting take. Interesting. Damn. Very interesting take. There we go. All right. That's gonna do it for. Oh wait, did you see Frank and Amanda get into it?
well, I did not, but that doesn't surprise me because Amanda is just like the Jemmy 2.0 is what they,
Yeah, but she fucks with Shane heavy and decided to get off Frank's
well,
bad
that,
side.
yeah. I'm just saying Amanda's one of those cast members that's your business is my business. And so
100%. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. Thank you guys all for watching. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you follow us on all socials at LWC Podcast. Once again, I am MTV Malik. He is Tyler Lauder. This is Love, War, Challenges. Peace.